Listen, 30 years ago today, 30 years, I can't even believe that 30 years ago I was grown. 30 years ago I could make a decision. 30 years ago I could change my last name, but 30 years ago today I said I do and became a Mrs. And just can't believe it's been 30 years. It feels more like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years maybe. Time just goes by so fast. Oh my goodness. And last night, just thinking about, what are some things that was learned over these 30 years? And it's just been so much, but at the same time, it hasn't been a lot. I mean, it's been so much because so many different things have happened, with our relationship personally, professionally, just a lot of changes, a lot of pivoting, a lot of just experiences, great experiences. And so when you think about all the lessons learned, it's just tremendous. And it's not always lessons that you can pass on to others, like the typical marriage lessons. It's really lessons that you almost have to walk in the shoes to achieve. And I do have some, I'm going to share them. Not today, but I just want to think about it some more. I see Loving Myself is in the building. Good morning to you. I hope that you are having a good day so far. And I really enjoyed your unboxing video yesterday. And I didn't realize that's your second video. So keep up the great work. Consistency is where it matters here on YouTube. It doesn't always matter. It matters what type of content, absolutely, because we all need great content out here. But it's really about showing up in some form or fashion. So consider doing some shorts. I don't think your channel can have community posts yet, but when you can, do some of those as well. Do some pre-records, some lives. You can do lives and just have fun with it. Figure out what really works for you. Don't concern yourself too much with the time of day that you post. Just post, post, post. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how many views you got on your first video. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow, you're gonna do well. You really are, for sure. Yes, you're welcome. Absolutely. You're welcome. You have 15 shorts? Okay. So I gotta really go and look, because all I looked and saw were the 2 videos. So I'll look at those shorts too. Congratulations for taking that first step. Now it's only up from here. It's only up from here. So I'm going to try and go live tomorrow, but I probably won't be able to in the morning on Friday because I'm going out of town tomorrow. But um yeah, it's going to be good and I'm gonna have a great time. But today I'm not going to be on here long. I have another new person joining my team. Listen, you have to be careful what you pray for. It's been a long journey doing what I do with a very skeletal crew. And now I have a well-stacked team and the blessings just keep pouring in. So I'm receiving it and I'm just really pleased. And it's just keeping me available and open for new opportunities for, my mind is open and it's clear so I can come up with some even better strategies and ideas. So, I'm very fortunate to have a growing team. Yeah, thank you for the safe travels and Wellness with Frugal Mama. Hello to you. And also, Wellness with Frugal Mama. Let me mod you. Hold on. Um, because I want you to drop the link to your donations for MS so that you can get that massage. Please be sure to drop that here. I would love that if you're able to. I know sometimes when you are looking at lives, especially if you're getting ready for work or to leave the house or whatever, you may not have the opportunity to drop links. All right. You made it, Carter's Eat. You made it. You're in the building. What? Is everyone off to school? What time is it? 7:51. Is everyone off? I know that your parents are with your other sister and everything. I know you have busy mornings. So for you to be here live and in effect is amazing. Thank you for being here. Yes, for sure. So, listen, I was talking yesterday and the day before. Today is Wednesday. It's the last Wednesday of February in 2025. And oh, my son just sent us a happy anniversary text. Yeah, 30 years. Oh my goodness, y'all. Could you imagine? I feel so young to have been married for 30 years. That's so wild to me. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'll talk about what I was gonna talk about probably another day. But we selected the month of February because I didn't wanna be a June bride. I felt like that's so typical, and June, the weather can be iffy in June. A lot of times when people select the month of June to get married, the expectation is for the weather to be so beautiful. Everyone can wear their strapless gowns, maybe even have the ceremony or the reception outside, and if the weather takes a turn, it can ruin it. And so I didn't want to have to figure things out. I didn't want to have to make changes. I didn't want to have to pivot. And so we had our wedding. It was actually on a Sunday because our wedding was so extravagant. Saturday weddings, especially back then, were a grip. And so I was like, I want to have it. I want everything that I want. And I don't want to, break the bank with it, but I do want to have everything I want. So we ended up having it on a Sunday. It had to be after the football season, after the Super Bowl and everything, just in case. Because of my parents' business, it had to be after Valentine's Day. And, we just had a lot of different things to consider. Whenever you are planning anything big, you need to consider everything and all of the major players in it too. So we settled on February 26th. And I remember before my husband left for football camp that year, that season, because he was going to be playing with the LA Rams, we had to make sure we had the place solidified, the dates all mapped out and everything. And we did. We found one of the most beautiful banquet halls in New Jersey, so beautiful. I mean, the exterior wasn't all that, and I didn't care because it was February. It wasn't like people were going to be outside taking pictures. That's another thing. Ambiance is everything. But when you open those doors, what? It was gorgeous inside. And we had to make sure the ceilings were high because my husband is 6'6", and a lot of people, my brothers are 6'3", 6'4". My father's tall, my father-in-law is tall. We know a lot of tall people. And when you have tall people, you need to have a room with high ceilings so it doesn't feel crowded and overwhelmed. And we also were preparing for 400 people, so we needed it to be a big enough space to accommodate everyone. And it was so beautiful. My bridesmaids and my hostesses, many, I want to say all but maybe 3 or 4 of my line sisters were part of my wedding party, and they were the best hostesses, best bridesmaids I could have ever asked for, because it was a lot on them, and they lived in different places: New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Maryland. They lived in different places, and they were so supportive of everything from the beginning. And I remember before, as I was asking them to be part of the wedding, my mother hosted a like luncheon for them at my parents' house. And that's where I kind of outlined everything, what this would entail, what type of commitment I was looking for. And this is back in 19 at that time, it was 1994. We got married in 95. And in 1994, they didn't have, the computer or text message or anything like that. And so I had typed out, just kind of, an outline of how I wanted everything to flow from beginning to end. And at that moment, I asked, is this something that you feel comfortable doing, being part of? If not, speak now, forever hold your peace. But I just wanted to get their buy-in, and if they weren't able to commit, because maybe for them, life happens for everyone, I wanted them to be able to tap out then and not, talk behind my back about why Sherry have us doing this or what's going on, or oh, I didn't want to do this. There would have been no hard feelings. I'm like, you still be invited. It's just I just need to know that I have you 100%, because at that time I was in grad school. I was still working in New York, and I knew I was going to fly back and forth to LA every month. And so my time was limited. I would have like maybe 3 weeks out of each month up until our wedding, because we got engaged in May. We had our engagement engagement party in June, and my husband left in July, and we got married in February. So it was less than a year. And it was a lot of planning, finding the perfect honeymoon spot, and, just making sure all the pieces were put together. And so they all agreed to be part of the wedding party, and they were just so wonderful. I love my line sisters, and I had two of my dearest friends, and my sister-in-law also was in my wedding party. And so, we had the dress fittings. I was able to actually, we went to a bridal shop, and it was the same bridal shop that my mother got her wedding gown from, and my parents got married in 1959. And so, that was really, really special. And the designer of my wedding dress, I actually was able to find the same designer for my bridesmaids dresses, and it just really was a great deal. Nine West had an outlet. I was able to find some. Remember Potaswa shoes? It's kind of like that sateen. It's not a shiny satin. It's like that muted kind of dull satin type of shoe. I was able to get them in bulk. I was just trying to save money and buy as much as I could in large quantities. And because I worked in New York, and I would get off, like, I worked all the way downtown on Wall Street, and I would take the train up, get off near the garment center, and I was able to buy beautiful jewelry, from the wholesalers there for them. Just, trying to do the best I could, with what we had. And so we had a live band at our wedding, which was remarkable. My One of my favorite cousins, her husband is um a professional percussionist. He has played with Pat Metheny, Cassandra Wilson, Peebo Bryson. I mean, it's amazing. He's been on Saturday Night Live playing and everything. So he connected us with this band that was phenomenal. And one of the lawyers where I worked, his daughter played the harp. And so she did the harp and played canon and D for me when our bridesmaids and such were going down the aisle. Just so beautiful, y'all. It was beautiful. I have to say it really was. Um, we had a one of my mother's dear friends, her husband, they're not married now, but at the time they were. He was a saxophonist, and so he played during the cocktail hour. Let me tell you, even though we had our wedding on a Sunday, it still was like 150 a plate for everyone. It was still, a grip. My dad did my flowers, did a phenomenal job. Oh, everything was so beautiful, so perfect. My bouquet was all gardenias, and I just, every moment of that day, I wouldn't have changed a thing, not one thing at all. And we had the jumping of the broom ceremony. Now, the person that was the over my wedding, she was the what do they call it? Um, and you all might know what I'm talking about. She was the person that coordinated. She was my coordinator. Yes, Miss Lillian. And she graduated from Lincoln University just like I did, but years and years before she graduated, maybe a couple of years after I was born, she pledged Delta Sigma Theta sorority grad chapter. I always admired her. She wrote my letter for me to, when I submitted, to also be part of the pledge period, and to be part of the sorority. She pinned me, and she was a coordinator for my wedding. Unfortunately, a couple of months ago, she passed away, but she was a coordinator for my wedding, both my brothers' weddings as well. And she just she did a remarkable job, keeping everything together and on time. And so we had a huge broom jumping ceremony. We didn't do it until we got to the reception hall, and she read this whole passage about the purpose of the broom jumping. It was so beautiful. And my mother made the broom, and I still have it. We have it hung up in front of the door, in front of our bedroom. And we had our elders and our parents and our siblings to come, and they had the microphone, and everyone, for the ceremony, all 400 guests. Now, we had 400 guests. Only two out of the 400 did not come. And that's not typical. Usually when you have any type of event, there's a percentage of people that don't show up. But for our wedding, everyone came, everyone but two people. And so everyone, all 400 or 398 guests, they gathered in a circle all the way around us. And, one by one, she invited members of our family to come up, and they said well wishes to us, special prayers for us. We had someone to hold a basket with white ribbons, and when they were telling us those special wishes and prayers, they were tying those white ribbons around the broom, and those ribbons are still up and around our broom to this moment. And after everyone tied it, now the guests, outside of our immediate family and our elders, our guests later were able to go to, we had a special spot for the broom, and they were able to go and tie the ribbon and wish us well. But in that moment, it was just our immediate family and our elders. And then we placed the broom on the ground, and that's when she said the additional ceremonial information, and we jumped the broom, and then we swept around everyone. We were on the inside of the circle, and we swept around everyone. And y'all, I just remember, there was a moment when my husband and I looked around, and we were like, everyone in here loves us. Everyone in here right now, they love us. They wish the best for us. And y'all, when you have that type of memory, those types of moments in your relationship, especially in your wedding, when you're taking those vows before God, when you are, there being highly supported, not hated on, not, you know, no ill will feelings at all, from anyone, that's something special, and not everyone experiences that. It's almost like an overwhelming experience. That was 30 years ago, and right now, I still feel that exceptionally high level of love that we had from that day. And I had mentioned this before. The unfortunate part is that many of the people that truly loved us are no longer here, and I have been on the search trying to get our VHS tape from our wedding made into a digital form so that we can see it, because we don't have a VHS player anymore. I want my dad to be able to see. I want my mother-in-law to be able to see it again, so they can see their siblings, their spouses that are no longer here. And just know that on that day, everyone had a phenomenal time. Our first dance was You and I by Stevie Wonder, and the band sang it and did a phenomenal. And I remember my husband's cousins that, were old school from the 70s type, and they was like, yo, no, they playing Stevie Wonder, they playing You and I, because that's like a oldie but goodie first dance song. And then my husband's first dance with his mother was, it was an old Michael Jackson song. I had never heard it before, and it was about finding that special girl. And for my dad and I, we danced to My Sherri More. And, it was just a good time had by all. My mother-in-law made my most favorite dessert cake for everyone to take home in the white box, and it was the sweet potato cake. She really did a good job with that. Oh my goodness. But our wedding, the food, I mean, even at the cocktail hour, and it was in a beautiful indoor patio garden, with fountains and just really good food. And some people thought that was the reception. Like, they were eating so much of the hors d'oeuvres that were really, I mean, I wish I should have brought I still have my wedding book. I should have brought my wedding book out. Maybe I will one day and share with you like all the food that we had, and then, the all the entrees, the entree and the, courses along with it. And then we had a huge dessert table with all different types of desserts, and of course the wedding cake and everything. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. And I always tell people when they get married, remember this day. Remember this day, because this day is going to surpass anything that goes on. This is the day you reflect upon. This is the day that when something happens, something challenging comes up, you reflect on this and remember the reason why. And it's not for the show, it's not for the event, but it's the moments of saying I do in the with all the witnesses that love you in front of all of them, and just having that moment be that special. And for our honeymoon, we went to Young Island. It was secluded. It was a small, tiny, tiny island. Only 11 couples can be on there at once. And it was just a wonderful way to tap off, to top off, that special moment. So It's something that I will never forget. It's very vivid in my mind. I just can't believe it's been 30 years. What? 30 years and 3 children later. And, when our 10th anniversary came up, 20th, 25th, and everything, everyone's like, oh, you're going to renew your vows? No, because we did it right the first time. And you absolutely can do it right the first time, no matter what your budget, whatever that you can afford, whatever you can do, even if it's going to the courthouse or whatever, let it be that special for you. Let it be that moment, because if you try to redo it later, does that even count? Like, you already in the trenches, you already, connected. So how does that even work? I wonder. But I get it. A lot of times people say, well, I didn't have the wedding of my dreams. It's not about the wedding of your dreams sometimes, it's marrying the person of your dreams. If you marry the person of your dreams, it will be your wedding of your dreams. And, I know that there's been many weddings before and after me that's been much better, but not better than mine for me. I know even with my husband, he didn't always prefer going to weddings. He couldn't understand, like, how do people go to people's weddings? Like, that's special for them. I feel awkward, especially if he didn't know them well, if he's my plus one or whatever. And I get it, because at our wedding, he was all bought in, all involved. Just, yeah, what do we do? I remember telling him, because he didn't know that much about weddings. I mean, he would go but didn't pay attention. And I was like, we got to do this special dance. And I was trying to teach him this really awkward waltz. And he was trying to learn, like, okay, wait, go back, do that other step again. What do we have to do? And then after a while, I just had to tell him, no, we don't, we just are gonna slow dance. We don't have to do all that. And I had like a sweetheart neckline, and I remember when we were dancing, he was no, not when we were dancing, when we were sweeping around everyone. And I'm just minding my business. And he was like trying to hold my dress up. Like, hey, can't nobody see this but me. I thought that was so sweet. So yeah, today is our 30th, and I feel like we can go at least another 30, 40 more. I know my dad, one of his dearest friends, before his wife passed away, they were married for 61 years. My parents were married for 51. My in-laws were married for, I believe, 48 years. So, I mean, longevity is all around us. And you can't take marriage lightly. It's not like when you're dating and, here today, gone tomorrow. You really have to figure out ways to figure things out. Every day is not going to be perfect, but it can still be respectable, and it can still have the expectations that you want for yourself. Be treated the way that you deserve to be treated. Um, I'm getting so flushed. I'm blushing, I think. What? All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. Y'all are going in. Hold on. Let me see. All right, everyone was saying hello to Cardies. Thank you. I'm glad. So y'all be sure to click on Wellness with Frugal Mama's link that she posted. You know, she has MS. She does amazing workout sessions every morning. I love when I catch them. She has a great word. I just wish that I was ready so I could work out with her at the same time. And I'm going to get there, Wellness with Frugal Mama. But there's this campaign going on, and it's not necessarily about the amount of a donation. It could be $1, $5, but it's the amount of people. So please go there if you can and support her, because when she wins, not if, but when she wins, she'll be able to get a massage. And I'm giving that a good PSA, Wellness with Frugal Mama, because I caught the tail end of it when you were explaining it. But I know that's the gist of it, and I feel like it's an amazing cause. So please support her if you can. And so you're driving, Carter's Eat, okay? Loving myself. Thank you. Thank you. I wish the what's it called? The moderators were in yellow or a different color, because the blue, I can't see it too good. When you marry in June, you will always be a bride. Is that what they say? Well, listen, when you marry in February, you will too, I guess. um, and Loving Myself is saying that this just made me think of 7 brides for 7 brothers. Oh, okay. I don't think I heard of that one. TWP Popcorn is in the building. Good morning to you. I'm always so happy that you would, come in the morning for me. And I know that someone had just made a comment that, and they called me old. Listen, I'm vintage. Vintage gets better with time. I own it. I'm 55. I'm double nickel in here. If you want to call that old, so be it. I am blessed. I am so blessed to be this age. I have so many friends that didn't make it to this age. What? I don't take any day for granted. And guess what? I hope you don't either. I hope you don't either. I listen, if you're not 55 yet, my prayer for you is that you make it. My dad is 86. What? And he's still doing it. He's still doing it. Still independent, still driving, all of that. So I'm very fortunate to still be here. I don't call it old, I call it vintage. I age with like fine wine. I am wise beyond the years, for sure. Yes. And let's see. What do you need? Crunchy, what do you need? Your wedding coordinator wrote my letter. Oh, pinned me. Yeah. Oh, okay, Carlos, did you repeat one of yes, yes. Oh, yours too? Or are you talking about my wedding coordinator? Because that's what she was. Yes. Young Island is off of St. Vincent. It's in the Grenadines. It's one of the most beautiful places. Oh my goodness. So we had to, catch a flight from New York and take it to Barbados. We took a small plane from Barbados to St. Vincent, and then took a small boat to Young Island. So Young Island is completely surrounded by water. There's only 11 cottages on the whole island, and oh my goodness. And with that, honeymoon package, it also included a yacht cruise. That we were on a yacht for 3 days and 2 nights, and we had a skipper and a cook on there. And we went to two other islands that weren't far, and they called Beckway and Mystique. And we were able to anchor. Sometimes the sailor that had our yacht, sometimes he would row us to the shore of those islands, or sometimes we would just jump off and just swim. And we anchored there and slept there. We ate on the boat. It was amazing. And it was just so secluded, and just the two of us. It was wonderful. And my husband and I, we love to do the same things. We both love the water and love to swim. That's why when our children, when they were like a month or two old, I can't remember, maybe 2 months old, we started them with swimming lessons, because we were like, yo, we love swimming too much to have our children afraid of the water. We want them to, participate and swim. I'm really like flushed and blushing, like low key. Yeah, and loving myself. I saw that you made it to Carter's Eats live yesterday, and I heard her say it. I was looking at the replay. I was like, look at loving myself, checking in with everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that you are here too, Carter's Eat. Thank you. And I think, oh, loving myself was saying that. Thank you for this. I'm glad you like this conversation. Oh my goodness. Everyone is speaking. Double nickel and all right, and gorgeous. People come in here talk about you old. What? You think that bothers me? I'm blessed. Call it what you want. I call it vintage. I call it wise. I call it seasoned. I am well seasoned. You know those raw iron pots that and pans that our grandmothers and mothers and everyone used to cook with. We actually still have some. We have inherited my mother-in-law's, and them suckers are heavy, but they cook the best foods because they are seasoned, with love over the years, over the decades. And that's what we are. I'm double nickel in this piece. You can never say anything about my age that's going to make me feel bad about myself. What? So, that's just how it is. All right, everyone. I am going to get ready to go. I have to go. I know it. And maybe I'll be back this evening. I probably won't though, but I will tune in tomorrow. I am going out of town tomorrow, but I have a presentation to do in the morning, and I'm excited for it. My whole team is going to be participating in it. Lots of people want to know, what is it that we do? And so we are going to share it with them. But again, I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for rocking with me this morning, and stay safe. But remember this, to practice. And when you're practicing again, you never know who's in the building, so practice your best. Practice so hard that when you get in, you will always play to win. It's been my pleasure. I am Coach Sherri.